Hey guys, Caleb's Cards here, coming at you with a special episode. This is episode 3 of my World War I autograph collection update. Every month I try and bring a little video of what I've been able to pick up so far, and within the last time I did a video I've gotten 5 autographs. Probably will do just a little bit of a short break just because there hasn't been a whole lot of things popping up for reasonable prices. So maybe for a month or two, or just maybe I'll just wait longer before I do a video. We'll see how it goes. Just for obviously the Christmas time, just financial reasons. So I just want to make sure I have money to purchase gifts for my family and be able to pay bills and stuff like that. So probably wait till after Christmas time to start purchasing some more. I did lose out in an auction for quite a few World War I autographs actually, but at least I was able to get 5. So we'll start it off with this first one here. This letter. It's not technically autographed, but it is kind of cool. It is a letter from John J. Pershing, who was the Commander-in-Chief at the time, thanking Mr. Lee W. Clark for his service in the American Expeditionary Forces. Now somebody decided apparently to do some math on the envelope at some point. I'm not sure who. I tried to see if I could erase it very gently, but it wasn't really working, so I gave up on that. It'll just have to stay that way. I can't really find anything in Lee W. Clark, but here's the copy signature of John J. Pershing. If that was a real signature of his, it'd be worth a whole lot more. And hey, you see also it's got Robert C. Davis, Adjutant General. We've gotten his autograph first episode if you want to go see that. Check those out. But this is just thanking Mr. Clark for his service. So I thought that was kind of a neat piece to add. I mean, it was only $10. I figured, why not? So I think it was worth it. So we'll start off with that one there. Then we have a letter that is from Mr. Frank J. Jervey. It is signed by him on the top there. Written to Clemson College, South Carolina. Dated from March 16th, 1932. And there's the signature there. Frank J. Jervey was born November 27th, 1893 in Summerville, South Carolina. He attended the Porter Military Academy and graduated from Clemson College in 1914 with a Bachelor of Science degree in Electrical and Mechanical Engineering. Following graduation, Jervey worked as an engineer in Charleston Navy Yard and then went on to work for Winchester Repeating Arms Company in New Haven, Connecticut. He entered military service in August 1917 and served as captain of the 4th U.S. Infantry Regiment in the 3rd Infantry Division. He was severely wounded near Chateau Thierry, which would be Castle Thierry, in France in January 1918. His combat record earned him the Distinguished Service Cross and the Italian Merito di Guerra for heroism. In 1922, Jervey was employed as an ordnance engineer by the Ordnance of the Corps of Department of the Army. During his distinguished 31-year career in Army Ordnance, Jervey became known as the authority on small arms and incendiary ammunition. After his retirement from government service, Jervey returned to Clemson and devoted his efforts to various alumni activities. So, Mr. Jervey was definitely a busy man, and pretty cool. And technically, I got this for free. This was paid fully, minus like maybe $2 for shipping with my eBay bucks that I had earned over spending a whole bunch of money. So technically, this one was free. So this is a pretty neat one there, Mr. Frank J. Jervey. I'm gonna have to find a picture for him. I haven't found one yet, and include that with his stuff there. Next up, this is the most recent edition. This is Mr. Howard V. Ramsey. There's another autograph on the back. I don't know if that's supposed to be here. I'll have to email the seller. He was Oregon's last living World War I veteran up until, I want to say, about 2007. Yep, he was born April 2nd, 1898, died February 22nd, 2007, right before his 109th birthday. He served in France during the war, and he was also told in a 2005 speech by Vice President Dick Cheney commemorating the 75th anniversary of the United States Department of Veteran Affairs. So he's born in Rico, Colorado, so that's pretty cool. He's born here in Colorado. Joined the Naval Militia. Was aboard the USS Marblehead under Admiral George Dewey. Fought in the Battle of Manila in the Spanish-American War, and then of course was later on fighting in World War I. And yeah, so he's had a little bit on Wikipedia, but not a whole lot. But then there's also, I think I'm at the message seller. He sent me this autograph of Hugh Ainsworth that was on the back. This is a witness to John F. Kennedy, so I'll have to email the seller and say, hey, was it supposed to be in there? So I want to make sure I give them back their autograph. Then next up, we have a British World War I veteran. So this is a signed index card by Freddie West, also known as Ferdinand Maurice Felix West. Here is a picture of him. And he was born 19th of January 1896 and died July 8th, 1988. So he was quite nearly 100 years old. He was a senior Royal Air Force officer, aviator, and an English recipient of the Victoria Cross, the highest award for gallantry in the face of the enemy that can be awarded to British and Commonwealth forces. He broke out in the First World War in 1914 when he joined the British Army, initially in the Royal Army Medical Corps as a private, before being commissioned in May 1915 and joined the Royal Munster Fusiliers. He arrived in France for service on the Western Front in November 1915. After a flight in early 1917, West decided to transfer to the Royal Flying Corps, training as an observer at Brooklands and sent back in France April 1917 to the No. 3 Squadron. Becoming a fully qualified observer in July 1917, having accumulated over 100 flying hours. After 6 months and 225 flying hours, he was posted back to Britain to undergo pilot training at Grantham. He was only 22 years old and a captain in the No. 8 Squadron Royal Air Force during the First World War, when the following deed took place for which he was awarded the VC, or Victoria's Cross. August 12, 1918, the British Army was intending to start a major offensive, but it needed information about the enemy positions setting off at dawn. Weston and his observer, Lieutenant William Haslam, flying an Armstrong Whitworth FK-8, spotted an enemy concentration through a hole in the mist. Avoiding severe ground fire almost immediately, they came under attack from 7 German fighter aircraft, and West was hit in the leg and his radio transmitter was smashed. Continuing to identify his location, he remained under attack and maneuvered his machine so skillfully that the observer was able to get several good bursts into the enemy machines, which drove them away. Only when he was sure of the enemy's position did he attempt to break off and head for his own lines. He twisted his trouser leg into a tourniquet to stern the flow of blood from his wounds. Unable to make his airfield, West landed behind the Allied lines and insisted on reporting his findings despite being in excruciating agony. His left leg had 5 wounds, one of which had shattered his femur and cut the femoral artery and had to be amputated. Shortly afterwards, he was invalided back to Britain, where on the 9th of November 1918, he learned that he had been awarded the Victoria Cross. After recovering from his amputation, West was fitted with an innovatively designed Swiss artificial leg. So, pretty cool story there, Mr. West. Even though being wounded and knowing he's probably going to lose his leg, he's still had that dedication to his country that he was going to report what he saw and get that information to the front lines. Because in trench warfare, they needed every bit of information they can get to know about troop movements and where men were stationed. So that's a pretty cool one that I picked up. That was probably about $20, but very neat piece. And finally, this is my first French World War I veteran. This is General Henry Godard signing this. I guess this is kind of like a little piece of maybe a letter or something like that. I'm not really sure. Or just kind of like a large business card. Here's a picture of him. And Henry Godard was born November 17th, 1867, and he died on September 16th, 1946, so just after World War II. He was a French general, best known for his leadership of the French Fourth Army at the end of the First World War. He also fought in the French Sudan, in Africa. He fought in Morocco, French West Africa. In mid-1915, he served as commander of the French Expeditionary Corps that was committed to the Dardanelles. I'm not fluent in French, so I'm not sure. I'm probably not pronouncing that right at all. Campaign, the Dardanelles campaign. He was wounded on the 30th of June and subsequently lost his right arm from December 1915 to December 1916, and from June 1917 until the end of the war, he commanded the Fourth Army in the Western Front, where he gained distinction for his use of elastic defense during the Second Battle of the Marne. On the 22nd of November 1918, he entered the city of Strasbourg, overthrowing the Soviet government that had been proclaimed there on 11th November 1918. And he still wasn't done after World War II. Looks like he still fought in Syria, Lebanon, and finally retired in 1923. Technically, it says he was a military governor of Paris from 1923 to 1937, so he was also a very busy man, Mr. Henry Godard, even after retirement. So that is my pretty neat World War I history autographs there. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode and learned a few new things. I did as well. Learned about some stuff about these people. So definitely would encourage you, if you're interested in history, to maybe start doing something like this. It doesn't have to necessarily be World War I. It could be with World War II. Vietnam, Korea, could be stuff like, if you're not from the U.S., obviously it could be from wherever you're from, your history. So definitely encourage it. If you forget your history, you're doomed to repeat it. So definitely really awesome episode. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. Really appreciate it. Consider hitting that like button or subscribing to my channel. There'll be plenty more episodes to come of my TTML days, contest videos, and also these World War I autograph collection updates. So thank you everybody so much for watching. I will see you all next time. Bye.